Today, we're talking about the fan-made universe and how viewers literally built the worlds they love. We're going to dive into one of the most incredible and kind of invisible collaborations happening in entertainment right now. This is the story of the moment the audience became the ultimate expert on the stories they adore.
So, let me ask you a question. Where do the creators of Star Trek go when they forget a detail about, Star Trek? I know, it sounds like a trick question, right? Your first thought is probably some official top-secret studio archive locked away in a vault. But the real answer? It's probably a website you visited this week.
They go to a massive online library that was built entirely by fans. Yeah, you heard that right. For the tiniest, most hyper-specific details of their own universe, the pros turn to the fans. And look, this isn't just some funny little story. It's the key to understanding a huge shift in who really holds the knowledge and maybe even the power in our favorite fictional worlds.
So, how in the world did we get here? Well, it all starts with a feeling every single fan knows. It's that obsession, that impulse to catalog everything. You know, that burning desire to know every single detail, to get it all organized, and then to share it with other people who are just as obsessed as you are. You see, before the internet, this kind of thing was limited to, fan clubs and conventions. But once online communities popped up, that impulse just exploded. There's actually an academic term for this. It's called participatory culture, and it is a total game changer. It basically means audiences aren't just sitting back and consuming anymore. No, we're active, we're creators, we're archivists, we're part of the story now. And all of that creative energy had to go somewhere, right? So in the early days of the internet, it found a home in the very first digital databases. It all started with simple lists that turned into legends.
Just think about IMDb. We all use it. Today, it's this huge behemoth owned by Amazon, but it didn't start in some corporate boardroom. Not at all. It started way back in 1990 on a Usenet group, which is kind of like an old-school internet forum. It was literally just movie fans making lists for each other. That little passion project grew into a website, then a real company, and get this, in 1998, Amazon bought it for $55 million. Talk about a grassroots success story.
And it wasn't just IMDb. This was a whole movement. You had other sites popping up, like MovieMistakes.com back in '96. It was started by a fan, John Sandys, who just wanted to track every continuity error in movies like Jurassic Park. And today, you've got modern sites like Spoilertown, which are all about detailed plot summaries. There were countless others, and each one of them served a very specific kind of fan obsession.
But things were about to get even bigger. This was the next evolution. If those first databases were like personal libraries, the great fan wikis that came next, well, they were like the Library of Alexandria for pop culture. Absolutely massive, collaborative libraries built by thousands of people working together.
And when I say massive, I mean it. The scale of this fan dedication is it's staggering. Look at this. Wikipedia, the Star Wars wiki, has over 145,000 pages covering 41 years of history. For Star Trek, Memory Alpha has almost 46,000 pages for 52 years of content. This isn't just a hobby, you guys. This is a monumental act of cultural preservation. But then you get to the Marvel database. 212,767 pages. Just let that number sink in for a second. That's to document 79 years of comics and movies and shows. We're talking about an encyclopedia that can go toe-to-toe with any in human history. And it was built for free by fans. You know, there's actually a name for all this work. It's called immaterial labor. Basically, it's all those countless hours of unpaid voluntary work that fans pour into creating and moderating these wikis. It doesn't create a physical thing you can hold, but it creates something incredibly valuable, social and informational value. And this is where the story gets really interesting. Because what happens when that value becomes so huge, so accurate, so completely essential that the official creators have to turn to the fans for help? When Hollywood itself comes knocking. Okay, so in Hollywood, a writer's room traditionally has something called a showrunner Bible to keep track of the show's history. But here's the problem. People who've worked on shows like Buffy the Vampire Slayer say these official Bibles are often just glorified sales pitches. They get outdated the minute they're printed. But a fan-run wiki, that's a living document. It's public, it's comprehensive, and it's constantly being updated by thousands of people. It's just a better tool. And you don't have to take my word for it. Listen to this.
Simon Pegg, who co-wrote Star Trek Beyond, said, and I'm quoting here, "Memory Alpha was our resource. We had the entirety of Star Trek history at our disposal. It's a beautiful support network." He's straight up saying they used the fan wiki as their main resource. Think about that. The fans had become a support network for the actual creators. And he is definitely not alone. It's happening all over the industry. Writers for DC Comics have said they turned to fan wikis to navigate the decades of super complicated backstory for characters like Batgirl. When a story's history gets too tangled for even the pros to figure out, they turn to the fans. So, this brings us to a really weird new world, doesn't it? A world where the line between who makes the story and who consumes it is getting blurrier by the day. And that raises some really tough questions about what this all means. Are these fans partners or are they just free labor? Let's just break down how this uncredited collaboration works. Step 1. A multi-million-dollar movie needs a really specific detail from deep in the lore. Step 2. The writers go to a fan-made wiki to find the answer. Step 3. That information is there thanks to thousands of hours of unpaid fan labor. And the result? The movie gets made. But the fans who provided that crucial info, they get no official credit and no compensation. The moderators of Memory Alpha, who helped the Star Trek Beyond team, not a single mention in the film's credits. So the next time you're settling an argument with a friend and you pull up IMDb, or you fall down a rabbit hole on Wikipedia checking some fact, just take a second to remember the incredible story behind that website. It's not just a tool. It's a monument, really, built on an incredible amount of fan labor and passion. And all of this leaves us with a huge question. As fans build these incredible encyclopedias for the worlds we all love, are they actually becoming partners in creation? Or have they become the entertainment industry's largest and most skilled source of free labor? There's no easy answer to that, is there?